address you on the issues of SGR. As you are aware, SGR is one of the most revolutionary achievements by the Kenya government, maybe for the last century. And therefore, the negative publicity associated with it has come to our attention. The allegations include lack of prudent financial management, racism, and inadequate measures to protect wildlife. From the onset, we wish to assure the public that all allegations will be judiciously investigated and action taken in the best interests of the citizens of Kenya. However, we also wish to draw the attention of the public to a few facts which the sensational reporting has so far ignored. The first is the training, skills, and the responsibilities handover to the national staff. Unajua train sio boda boda, where you go down Kirinyaga Road, you train for 2 hours, and the next minute you are out in traffic. Even the old locomotive, you took up to 10 years to sit behind that wheel. We are talking about a machine moving at over 100 kilometers per hour, carrying a few hundreds of human beings, or several thousand tons of cargo. So we had better put what we are saying in perspective. We therefore call upon the public to appreciate that the operations of a modern train infrastructural system like the Madaraka Express in a consistent and effective manner is a professional calling that demands military standard discipline. The ongoing training and orientation of staff is therefore not about transferring technical skills only. It is aimed at inculcating the right mindset, a set of moral principles and workplace values that will build a foundation for the rail to operate effectively in perpetuity. We are not setting up a railway line for 2 years or 2 weeks or 3 months. It will remain a feature of the socio-economic fabric of this country for maybe another 100 years. The line we were replacing was over 100 years old. And this one will only be modernized. So it is an establishment, a tradition, an organization of its own, where when you say we are leaving at 10 a.m., you don't have the passengers seated there up to 12 a.m. For example, we are now running about 6 trains. When you delay one train with 30 minutes, you cripple the entire system. And therefore, whereas the government is at hand to protect the individual rights and dignity of every Kenyan citizen, the inward-looking haki yetu culture, haki yetu workplace culture, where it is about you, what you are entitled to, has no place in the Madaraka Express, neither now nor in future. The crop of Kenyans being trained now are the first who have been selected, and the government is relying on them to build the foundations which will entrench a culture that will determine in less than 10 years there is a very elaborate system of how the handover will be done to Kenya, starting with 3 years, 5 years, and eventually, within 10 years, we need to be running and operating that investment by ourselves. And here maybe the media might want to bring about a national dialogue on our work ethic. Why is it that so many local private investors doing small things like 10 apartments, why are they giving this job to the Chinese? Why is it that all our projects, almost all our projects, run by local contractors, will always be overrun the budget, they will always overrun the timetables? I don't want to ask a lot of whys, but it may be good for us to think about why Kenya Airways today is being managed by a foreigner. And therefore, even as we talk about the Madaraka Express and racism and all that, it might be necessary for us as a country to change our work ethic. It won't be very unfortunate if after the period is over, we then go out to look for expatriates because we are learning multiple derailings, the trains cannot come on time, they are running out of fuel on the road, and the kind of things we have seen on our own infrastructure. So what we are expecting those Kenyans to do, those with an opportunity, is to shift the focus on the challenge at hand. We are aware as a government there are forces which are not very friendly to that project. And I can tell you that those staff members who offer their services to those people will certainly have no future in that place, because we are building a human resource base that will build and hand over to other Kenyans. And therefore, they have a huge responsibility, and some of them don't seem to appreciate it. We'll also want to mention that every organization will have challenges, whether real or misconceived. It becomes even more complicated when you have a multi-racial, multi-ethnic situation. Like now we have Kenyans and Chinese. Without diluting the seriousness of the matter, I have even seen reports that they are not allowed into their restaurants. What happens if you go to a Chinese restaurant and you are, basically a mess, and you are served dog or donkey? So these challenges will be there. The issue of the way we are cultured and socialized is different, but no organization runs its affairs through the social media. I would like to challenge any of you, when you disagree with your editor, you put him in the social media. Then I will see how long you'll be able to report for Njata TV. And therefore, as a country, we are very keen. The government is very keen on the success of Madaraka Express. We are very seized of the interests of the Kenyans who are employed there and others in the country. And the systems in place are adequate to solve the problems there. Regarding the concerns on wildlife, I would want to inform you that the government is satisfied with the measures in place so far and the others which are being implemented. As a matter of fact, you can find out this from KWS. We have a bigger challenge on wildlife killed on our roads. The number far outweigh the few, the 2 or 3 maybe, which have been killed on the railway line. It was not intended. A lot of you have seen domestic animals killed on the public roads. It occurs everywhere. Human-wildlife conflict occur where we have reindeers, where we have tigers, where we have bears, and the world over. It is not unique, but what we are saying as a government is that everything which can be done is getting to be done to protect our national heritage. I don't want to go on and mention that the fact that wildlife always ends up as the loser in human-wildlife conflict is a fact which we are struggling to manage as a country from every end, whether it is from the others, whether it is from those people who are cultivators. We are very keen as a government to protect our natural heritage and the environment. We would want to remind you that Madaraka Express forms one of the most critical steps towards the achievement of the Kenyan dream, a middle income, fast developing country providing a high standard of living for its citizens. It is set to play a critical role moving forward in the economic and development of Kenya. The financial package in place was negotiated in consultation with a lot of consultants and experts, and actually provides the best deal so far for the Kenyan taxpayer. However, the government is monitoring, and as need arise, it will continue to be reviewed so that the Kenyan taxpayer continue getting the best value for money, and any proceeds thereof get to be disbursed in the best